All right, so I'm just going to give you the answers to the warm-up. This was using yesterday's notes, so that should be familiar to you, so you can check it. Angle P is approximately 32.089. Typically, you round degrees to the whole number, so if you just said 32, that's fine. It didn't say which one to do, so this is 127.169, and angle R is 20.742. Okay. All right. Today, though, what we're talking about is the law of sines. So the law of sines is obviously going to be using sine instead. I really prefer this second half. It's just a little bit easier to remember, I think. So that's the one that I always use. And it's just the corresponding side over sine of the corresponding angle. So A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. And so this is just a proportion, so you're only going to use two at a time. So you may do A over sine A equals B over sine B, or you may do this proportion, or of course you could do A and C. But you're only going to use the law of sines when you're given two angles. And you also have to be given a pair. Like, you have to be given side A and angle A, or side C and angle C. So you have to be given a pair. That's really the more important one, the way that I remember it. So in this case, so example 1, you are given B and B. So you're given the pair, so you can definitely use sine, the law of sines. And if we're finding A and C, it really doesn't matter which way we start. If you're going to start with A, just because it's listed first, that's fine. You're going to do A over sine A. And the other side of your proportion needs to be your given. So that's going to be B and B. So B over sine B. Because you have to know 1/2 of the proportion. And so this represents the proportion that I know. Because I know B is 6 and I know capital B is 56. So if I solve this, I'm going to leave A as A over sine. And now, you don't really have angle A right now, but it's a pretty simple thing to find, because if you have two angles of a triangle, you can find the third pretty easily, adding and subtracting from 180. So 56 and 42 make 98. So this must be 82 degrees. So I'm going to say sine of 82 equals 6 over sine 56. Okay, and from here it is just cross multiplication. So I'm going to do A times sine 56 equals, and so cross multiply, 6 times sine 82. And then to get A by itself, I'll divide by sine 56. And so I get A is approximately, and then just type this into the calculator. So if you type it into the calculator, go ahead and do that. You get A is approximately 4.843. Okay, so why don't you pause this and see if you can get B, or not B, get C by doing the same thing. Remember that you should use B and B for the other half. So go ahead and pause this. All right, so this is the formula I'm going to use. So I have C over sine 42 equals 6 over sine 56. And if you cross multiply, you should have found that C is approximately 4.843. I'm sorry, I think I wrote that down wrong earlier. A was actually 7.167. All right, so in example 2, let's draw triangle ABC. And so this is little a, which is 6. B is 60. And C is 42. While I'm writing down the angles, I'll go ahead and find angle A because I have to know that. So that's 102, so that makes this 78. And so I do know the pair A, so that's going to indicate to me I can use the law of sines. And if it wants me to find B, then I'm going to do B over sine B equals, and I have to use the pair that I know, so that's the A pair, so that's A over sine A. So B over sine, don't forget the sine, it's really, really important. So B over sine 60 equals 6 over sine 78. And if you cross multiply here, you find that B is 5.312. Okay, and that's it for today.